nerds, Alex here. Another year of the Dex is coming to a close, and over the next few days, expect to learn a whole bunch more about what 2016 has in store. But before we do that, what say we celebrate a great 2015 with a little giveaway? Nintendo sent us a Nendoroid N posable figure, as well as a bunch of Pokemon TCG goodies for you guys, and to sweeten the pot a little bit, I'll also throw in a couple free digital downloads of Power Overwhelming, the new album from Big Bad Bosses, a boy band made of video game villains that I'm now a part of, with The Completionist, Satchbag, and Nate Wants to Battle. All the songs are original compositions by Vert, the award-winning composer of Shovel Knight and all-around great guy. A bunch of our other friends came and did cameos, and there's a guest track by Banjo-Kazooie composer Grant Kirkhope, and it's not what you think. What is not to love about this? All you gotta do to win any of this stuff is leave the name of the prize and what you want and what state or country you live in the comments below, or tell us on Twitter with hashtag #ILoveBeingBad. Or if you can't wait and you want to buy that album now, follow the links in the description below. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Bandcamp, and you can pre-order the CD and get a couple extra tracks, get a poster, whatever you want to do. Anyway, thanks for another great year. Enjoy the free swag, and here's to an awesome 2016. Pokemon rules! Long ago, when Sinnoh had just been made, Pokemon and humans lived separate lives. That is not to say that they did not help each other. No, indeed they did. They supplied each other with goods and supported each other.
A Pokemon proposed to the others that they always be ready to help humans. It asked that Pokemon be ready to appear before humans always. Thus, to this day, Pokemon appear to us if we venture into the tall grass.
It's not too far a leap these days to say that Pokemon and people are not from the same place. But what does this really mean exactly, and why are they together now?
Officially, nobody really knows, but here on the Dex, we think we do. And at the center of our theory lies someone new to us, but has been around in the world of Pokemon almost since time began. The missing link, the great connector, the two-faced prince. Prepare your mind, it's time to learn about Hoopa.
Hoopa, the mischievous little imp genie from Gen 6. The very fabric of space and time is his plaything. He acts on his kleptomaniacal urges and secrets his plunder away in some lost, empty dimension. Not a lawful hiding spot, all told. I'm Traveling Guy Alex.
And I'm PokeKellz. This week on the Dex, we are bursting at the seams with information, just like the prison bottle which contains Hoopa's unbound form. Phenomenal cosmic power, you might say.
Yeah, and when he's released, Hoopa changes. He goes from the mischief Pokemon to the Djinn Pokemon and becomes a huge, demonic beast with 6 floating arms and a gaping hole into hyperspace at the center of his chest. Bet you're dying to know where that came from. Well, let's start with the Genie.
Djinn is another word for the magical beings we also might know as genies, so it might not surprise you that Hoopa's prison bottle is a reference to the magic lamp. You know, like from Aladdin, even though Aladdin was actually just a fake story added to 1001 Nights when it was translated for Europe. But like, mind blown, right?
Indeedy. Most legit stories of genies stuck in bottles and lamps are about Marid Genie, which are much more powerful and malicious than your average, more chill genie, and the reason that you'd usually imprison one was that if you didn't, it would just blow up and kill all the people that there are. So yeah, Hoopa's nutty.
Hoopa's design is also closely linked to the story of Taoist deity Neza, or the Third Lotus Prince, who so angered the East Sea Dragon King by fighting off his minions that he was forced to sacrifice himself to the beast by dismembering himself in order to stop the king from flooding his whole village. How do you even do that? Cut off your arm last? Ooh, I just grossed myself out. Ooh.
Neza's mother built a temple for his body parts to rest in, and long story short, he was brought back to life by his teacher to help fight evil with the help of the Windfire Wheels, the Fire-Tipped Spear, the Armillary Sash, and most importantly, for linking him to Hoopa, the Golden Universe Ring.
Oh yeah, man, that's pretty dang close to Hoopa Unbound, right? And all that ring imagery? What about all of his floaty arms, almost like they were dismembered?
Bum, bum, bum! I'll take it, man. That's awesome.
But enough about the backstory. Let's not forget Hoopa's a legendary Pokemon, and just like all legendary Pokemon, it is now time to see where he fits into the pantheon in this week's extremely ridiculous Legendaries Only segment, the Pokemon Creation Myth.
Well, is it really just one myth? Is that really what
Oh,
okay, great.
Remember a year ago when we did the Arceus and Giratina episodes? Go back and watch them if you want, but the main thing that you need to remember about them right now is that when Arceus created space-time, he also inadvertently created antimatter in Giratina, and that he banished Giratina to the Distortion World.
We also know that Arceus is a master delegator and that each of the legendary Pokemon he created are masters of certain core concepts, like Earth and Sea, space and time, gratitude and dreams. What we want to say now is that Hoopa has a job too, and that job is guarding the gateways between dimensions.
But Hoopa is also the mischief Pokemon, so on top of doing his job, he was also probably doing a lot of cavorting around and stealing and hiding and having fun. But what if he got sloppy? What if he left a portal open? A portal between the human world and the Pokemon world?
Remember that myth from the opening of the episode? Go listen to it again. That's from the Canalave Library, and it says that in the beginning, humans and Pokemon lived separate lives. What if that's actually because they were in completely different dimensions?
And check out the Veilstone myth. A foolish young man obtains a sword, and with it, he begins to kill Pokemon for sport. Later that year, he realized all the Pokemon were gone, and he searched far and wide for one. When he finally found one, it said to him, and I quote,
"If you bear your sword to bring harm on us, with claws and fangs we will exact a toll. From your kind we will take our toll, for it must be done. Done it must be to guard ourselves, and for it, I apologize."
The man begs forgiveness and hurls his sword to the ground, breaking it, and instead of declaring war as promised and killing as many people as they wanted, the Pokemon disappeared to a place that was beyond seeing.
What if that's the story of the portal finally closing? What if it was open and people went to their world and Pokemon came to ours, and then once Pokemon realized that humans couldn't keep it together, they closed it off and retreated? And what if the world we see in the game is populated with humans from our world that were left behind in theirs?
That would explain why there's all these weird in-game references to things like Indian elephants and Guyana and the exact dates of the moon landing. For a while there were Pokemon on Earth, but then we messed up and they left. Kinda makes you tired just thinking about it, doesn't it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them.
Wow, that wasn't so bad. I thought that was gonna be way long, but we got through it pretty quick, considering.
Right? It's because we're pros.
Of course. Hey, Mr. Pro.
Huh?
Just, how about some of those battle strats, huh?
Oh, right. Pokemon.
You're like Dan from Street Fighter.
Regular old bound Hoopa is a pretty hefty threat on its own, but with stats like Hoopa Unbound, there's only one smart choice to make because this here is the greatest revenge killer probably ever. Plus, it's freaking cool dark psychic type. Start with a hasty one and super train it in attack and speed.
This guy's not the sturdiest thing I've ever seen, so only swap him in after a KO or a U-turn or something. But you absolutely cannot ignore Hyperspace Fury, a 100 power stab moves that hits straight through Protect. Use that. Just be careful because it also drops your defense.
To outspeed most guys, you're gonna wanna go with the Choice Scarf on this set, but it's gonna lock you into whatever you use, so give yourself a lot of choices like Stab Psychic and Gunk Shot, and even Drain Punch for coverage.
It's probably not gonna make it back for round 2, so deploy this guy late in the game, and somehow, if you survive a knockoff, the ability Magician might even get you something cool like a Leftovers or a Citrus Berry to tide you over.
And that's that. Of course, that's not the only way to train a Hoopa, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
For those of you using something like Pokemon Showdown, this set also works well with Hidden Power Ice, since some jokers still like to mess around with Landorus and Gliscor. Teach them a lesson.
Use a Life Orb and Nasty Plot instead of a Choice Scarf set if you think Hoopa Unbound's Fearsome Presence is enough to grant you an extra turn. Psychic can become real scary real quick in that situation, I'll tell you what.
And finally, as a sort of out-of-the-box addition to your Choice Scarf set, why not try running Trick? You can pawn off your Scarf on some unsuspecting support Pokemon without losing any attack power and turn the tide of a fight.
And that's it, Hoopa, the Mr. Mix-a-Spitlick of the Pokemon world. Everyone should be very, very afraid.
Click here for more legendary Pokemon in our comprehensive Pokemon creation myth theory, or click here for some awesome psychic types. And thanks in advance for subscribing.
And have you ever bought a Pokemon shirt with a Pokemon on it before? Throw everyone a curveball by going with Victini for your first time out. Look at his cute little face. Links in the description to theyeti.com/thedex. Thanks for watching. I'm Traveling Guy out.
And I'm PokeKellz. Tune in next year for a darling episode of
The Dex.